Confidentiality/information security. Description: in the healthcare system, confidentiality/information security refers to the protection of privacy of the client's file. Clients have a right to privacy in the healthcare system. A special relationship exists between the client and nurse, in which information discussed is not shared with a third party who is not directly involved in the client's care. Violations of privacy occur in various ways. Violations and invasion of client privacy that you should remember. Taking photographs of the client. Release of medical information to an unauthorized person, such as a member of the press, family, friend, or neighbor of the client, without the client's permission. Use of the client's name or picture for the healthcare agency's sole advantage. Intrusion by the healthcare agency regarding the client's affairs. Publication of information about the client or photographs of the client, including on a social networking site. Publication of embarrassing facts. Public disclosure of private information. Leaving the curtains or room door open while a treatment or procedure is being performed. Allowing individuals to observe a treatment or procedure without the client's consent. Leaving a confused or agitated client sitting in the nursing unit hallway. Interviewing a client in a room with only a curtain between clients or where conversation can be overheard. Accessing medical records when unauthorized to do so. Nurses' responsibility. Nurses are bound to protect client confidentiality by most nurse practice acts, by ethical principles and standards, and by institutional and agency policies and procedures. Disclosure of confidential information exposes the nurse to liability for invasion of the client's privacy. The nurse needs to protect the client from indiscriminate disclosure of healthcare information that may cause harm. Maintenance of confidentiality. Not discussing client issues with other clients or staff uninvolved in the client's care. Not sharing healthcare information with others without the client's consent, includes family members or friends of the client and social networking sites. Keeping all information about a client private, and not revealing it to someone not directly involved in care. Discussing client information only in private and secluded areas. Protecting the medical record from all unauthorized readers. Social networking and healthcare. Specific social networking sites can be beneficial to healthcare providers, HCPs, and clients. Misuse of social networking sites by the HCP can lead to Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, HIPAA, violations and subsequent termination of the employee. Nurses need to adhere to the Code of Ethics, confidentiality rules, and social media rules. Standards of professionalism need to be maintained, and any information obtained through any nurse-client relationship cannot be shared in any way. The nurse is responsible for reporting any identified breach of privacy or confidentiality. Medical records. Medical records are confidential. The client has the right to read the medical record and have copies of the record. Only staff members directly involved in care have legitimate access to a client's record. These may include HCPs and nurses caring for the client, technicians, therapists, social workers, unit secretaries, client advocates, and administrators. Example, for statistical analysis, staffing, quality care review. Others must ask permission from the client to review a record. The medical record is stored in the records or the health information department after discharge of the client from the healthcare facility. Information technology/computerized medical records. Healthcare employees should have access only to the client's records in the nursing unit or work area. Confidentiality/information security can be protected by the use of special computer access codes to limit what employees have access to in computer systems. The use of a password or identification code is needed to enter and sign off a computer system. A password or identification code should never be shared with another person. Personal passwords should be changed periodically to prevent unauthorized computer access. When conducting research, any information provided by the client is not to be reported in any manner that identifies the client and is not to be made accessible to anyone outside the research team. The nurse must always protect client confidentiality.